missed it. Let's keep this in, just to show the truth behind recording a video. So apart from that little magical ring here on the top, this guitar looks quite ordinary. But it's when you start playing when you realize this is not your ordinary guitar. And I hate it. At least that's what I thought I was going to say. 4 years ago I looked at the predecessor of this very guitar and I asked myself, is this a gimmick or are we onto something here? And this time Yamaha took things a few steps further. There are some things I love, some things I find mildly annoying, and some things I genuinely dislike about this guitar. And as always, this video is not sponsored. Yamaha does not know I'm making this video. They don't get to see it before you see it, and they don't have a say in what goes in it or what doesn't. This is an acoustic guitar with built-in effects. And that sentence alone already creeps me out because I love acoustics, mainly because of the purity of it. And are we losing that now? And all that for just a gimmick? Well, let's find out. So what do we have? Here is the reverb. You simply turn the guitar on and there's this dial and you can dial it in, the volume of it. That's cool, right? So this is totally dry. And now we add the reverb halfway. Let's do it all the way. Why not? And you can change more parameters, the length, the tone, but more on that later. Next up, we've got chorus. Let's do it halfway. It sounds like this. Let's dial it up all the way. And if you blend them together, it's quite nice actually. And if you dial it down again, reality hits you hard. Oh. So far, this is what we also saw on that guitar I played 4 years ago. What changed though is the quality. These effects do sound really better and the reverb is fuller, it's more balanced, it blends nicer with the volume of your own playing, and the chorus is just a little bit sweeter overall. It creates a more natural sound. So now to the new stuff. This is a solid Sitka spruce stop with mahogany back and sides. And this guitar is a little bit heavier than your normal dreadnought guitar. It's not annoying, but it's worth mentioning because now there's actually 2 actuators instead of 1, producing all that sound. So when I read about these new features that we're about to see, I was like, oh no, here we go again. Stop turning my beloved acoustic guitar into a computer, cramming stuff in there that no one really needs. So the first thing, well, this. It's delay. personal, but delay on acoustic is not necessarily my favorite effect. But there are some fun applications, as we'll see later. Because here's the feature this guitar is all about. There is a looper in this guitar. And I've seen that before, a few times really. And that's exactly the reason why I was afraid about this feature. I never really liked it. And wow, do I like this one? This guitar was hanging in my living room for the past week, and I had more than a few fun jams a day in that period. And why it works so well is because of 3 reasons. Number 1, I've seen guitars where you have to boot up the instrument, wait, and then menu dive to get to this feature. A very tedious process that leaves me uninspired before I even start playing. So here's just a matter of turning the guitar on. Let me just do it. You turn the guitar on. Whoosh, there we are. You click loop. And then you can just immediately start playing. There we are. So the threshold of playing something and just grabbing the guitar for a little bit is super low, and that is something I think is done very well. Reason 2 why I like this looper is that it sounds surprisingly good. It's loud enough to be confused with actual guitar playing. Oh. And you can adjust the volume of the loop too. The sound. I mean, the bass is deep enough, and although there is some of that piezo sound present, it is quite close. And that is actually why it sounds like 2 guitars when you're looping over yourself. And it's quite strange, I love it. You should have seen the face of my 4-year-old when I hang the guitar whilst it was playing back on the wall. What? Papa? It was really fun. Number 3 is the implication. So here's where the ring comes in. You've seen me do it. Like with this guitar, you don't play to a click. It's a free length loop. You first activate the loop mode. Let me clear the loop. So you activate the loop mode, and now when you press record, it just starts recording. No, it waits till you start playing. And this is genius. So it just waits till the signal passes a certain threshold, and then it immediately starts recording. And I did 100+ loops, and it missed like maybe 3 or 4 times. It happens when you play really quiet, with finger picking, for example. It's maybe when you just play with the thumb and it just loses that first note. So if you are aware of that, you can overcome that, but it's something you should keep in mind. So I thought it would be annoying, but in reality, it works very well. Quick loop. And then you can just record again and play overdubs. Pentatonic loop is what I call it. So one of those fun things is that when you loop, you can add only a delay over the lead line. And that's where I think the delay is actually fun to use. All right, now you can add delay on just the new layer you're playing, basically. So you can also tap tempo with it. You're gonna do it in time. But because it's so easy to use, it also comes with some downsides. It's the most basic form of looping out there. It's just adding layers, nothing more. No undo, for example, which would have been nice. So I don't think this guitar is really meant for the live player, because I don't really see how this would work on stage, to be honest. Just like the effects on board, by the way, if you want to have a line out to the front of house, to the mixer, to the console, whatever, you can just use pedals as an effect. This guitar feels like it's made for home or for a creative studio environment, which makes sense because it is marketed as listen, play and create. The whole creative process in a single guitar. And now to some mild and not so mild annoyances. So this is the charger the guitar ships with. It has a nice magnetic snap and it snaps right on the guitar, which is nice. But first of all, this is the whole length. So if you want to play charging, it's going to be a weird situation. And second, where my frustration really comes up is, what is this cable? Why not USB-C, guys? My whole studio, USB-C, my whole house. Another proprietary cable to bring when you go traveling or when you go to a friend, you bring your guitar and you forgot your cable. I just don't understand why. That's annoying. Anyway, according to Yamaha, you've got up to 5.5 hours of battery life. I feel like it's longer, but maybe it counts just where it's really active and making sounds. Anyway, there's also an app for a guitar. And the app, in my opinion, looks quite dated already. It doesn't really inspire me. And in the app, you can deep edit some of the effects, like change the reverb length, different chorus algorithms, the EQ and feedback of the delays, etc. What I think would have been a useful addition is having the option between tap tempoing on the beat or making it like a dotted eighth note or a dotted quarter note. That would be super useful for me. The good thing is that I probably would never feel the need to go there, and I guess that would be for most people. It's basically set and forget. So although it's nice to have, I'm not really sure why it's there. Maybe they can easily add options as well later, I don't know. But having that connectivity with your phone also means that this guitar can act sort of as a Bluetooth speaker. This is very weird, by the way. And it's super loud. Let's play my tune, Shameless Self. Whoa! I wanted to say shameless self-promotion. Anyway, this is Lakeside. And do you hear how loud it was? Oh my God. Another weird thing, I just took my bread out of the oven. That is something I do. And the alarm of my phone was coming out of the speaker of the guitar, which was, it really shocked me. But now it's time to discuss the sound of the guitar, which is something usually I would do at the beginning of a video. So just imagine how crazy this is. So unplug the guitar sounds. Let's just turn it off to be sure there's no effects. So unplugged guitar sounds good, and I'm very spoiled in that regard, I know. So this wouldn't be my #1 pick, but I don't think that a person buying this guitar would compare it to like a $5,000 Martin or like a boutique acoustic. But it is nicely balanced. It has a very modern sounding voice. The basses are not too deep, but it's a nice balance between highs and lows. And I have to say it plays very well. The setup is exquisite. I think this is the best playing acoustic in this room, which says a lot. It plays very well. But you are paying for that. It's 15.99 euros where I live, and in dollars it goes for 16.99. And that is some serious money, which makes me wonder, who is this guitar for? What I love is that they don't cram features in here which makes no sense, features that nobody would use, features that make it look like a toy, because at that price range you should expect the best. And yes, everything here works very well. It sounds good and it's nicely implemented. And it's a fine balance, and they are hitting the sweet spot, which is so important because that's why it makes me feel like I'm playing an actual acoustic guitar. And that is the true power of this instrument. In the core, they did not change what the acoustic should be, in my opinion. As I said in the beginning, I love acoustics, mainly because of the purity of it. And luckily I still feel that here when I'm jamming over myself. But 1,600 euros, it's a lot of money. And I think that Yamaha often sits somewhere in that best bang for buck sweet spot for electrics and for acoustics. So they're generally easy to recommend. But here I find it a tougher situation because if I had to judge the guitar without electronics, it's a nice playing guitar, it's a good sounding guitar, but you can get better for 1600. So what are these extra effects worth it for you? And that's a question that I cannot answer for you. It's something you should answer for yourself. So thank you so much for watching. As I said many times in this video, I love the acoustic guitar, and if you feel the same about the instrument, I made a guitar course really focusing on the beauty of the acoustic. It's called Acoustic Adventure, and in it I take you through everything you need to know to become a really good acoustic guitar player, from fingerpicking to strumming, from swampy fingerstyle blues to creating beautiful chord progressions. It's a whole lot of fun, and I'm sure you're gonna love it. Check it out, links are below, acousticadventure.com. See you there. Cheers!